All right, everybody, we are back with week 3 previews. As everybody should know by now, the commish is heading to his mother's funeral. So he will not be joining us today. So I do have all his picks. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. First up, we have a Yamamoto clash. We have Bare Naked Ladies 0-2, 10-32 going up to Knights of Redemption 16-26. Milan is 5-2 against Bare Naked Ladies, though. So looking at the matchup real quick, this is one of the first matchups where both of the quarterbacks that would be in the super flex are out. So Bare Naked Ladies has Zach Wilson out, and for Knights of Redemption, they have Dak Prescott out as well. Looking at the matchups, we have Trevor Lawrence, C-Mac, Cam Akers, Rashad Penny versus Jameis Winston, Javonte Williams, Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Walker. I like T-Law over Winston, and then the running back room, kind of a wash in my opinion. C-Mac is probably better than Javonte Williams. Cam Akers is, looking like he is trending in the right direction. He had, 15 rushing attempts, 2 receptions, 3 targets last week sent to him. Rashad Penny, I think he had like 6 carries or something along those lines. And then Kenneth Walker had 4 carries. So those two, in my opinion, wash each other out. Saquon and Cam Akers, I think they're a wash as well. Maybe Saquon and C-Mac. And then Javonte Williams and Cam Akers will be a wash there. Looking at the wide receiver room, we do have MVS and Galladay and Juju going up to McKenzie, Michael Thomas, and T. Higgins. I do like the 3 wide receivers on Knights of Redemption. Tight end room, you got Hurst and Bryant versus Freiermuth and Schultz. Again, I like the tight ends on Knights of Redemption. Flex options, we do have Jahan Dotson, McBride, Sutton, and Ricky James for Bare Naked Ladies going up against Albert O, Randall Cobb, Reynolds, and James Cook. And yeah, I mean, probably the flex options for Knights of Redemption. Kamish had, let me just take a quick look. He did not put this in any order, but he did have the Knights of Redemption winning this one. And I had, let me just switch over to the right screen here. I had the Knights of Redemption losing this one. However, I am going to change that. I think the Knights of Redemption are going to win. And I think that is the correct option here. And then next up, we have it's a powwow of the Pandian division. We have Chris and No More 1-1, 19-23, going up against Vlad Jr. Crew, the other Chris. So it is a Chris powwow as well. He's 27-15. And Kamish, I don't know how you spell versus, but they put Verus there. Vlad is 4-3. And looking at the matchups real quick, we do have an okay matchup in my opinion. Chris No More should probably win this one easily. I originally picked him to win this one. And Kamish, let's see what the Kamish had to pick as well. He also picked Chris and No More to win this. And looking at the matchups, the reason I say Chris is going to win, No More is going to win this one, is because of the quarterback room. Danny Dimes and let me see, and I think it's Davis Mills for Vlad Jr. Crew going up to Joe Burrows and Russell Wilson. Let's be honest, those two guys should be able to carry your team to a win. But you also No More also has Derrick Henry, who is starting to look like Derrick Henry, hopefully. David Montgomery, Damian Pierce is definitely looking like he's getting more carries, definitely more usage in week 2. Going up Kenyon Drake, who I think J.K. Dobbins might play this week. Rashad White, who is underutilized, but he's still going to be underutilized. And Cordell Patterson, who is okay. He's playing Seattle. Looking at the wide receiver room, AJ Green, DJ Moore, and ESB. Going up against Pringle, Marquise Brown, and Olave. I think that's a wash. I think ESB and AJ are better than Pringle. And then Olave is in between, and then Moore and Brown wash each other out. TJ Hawkinson and Janu Smith versus Darren Waller and Fortson. Fortson almost caught another touchdown pass just off his fingertips. So you can get that. And I think the tight ends for Vlad Jr. Crew are better. Flex options, however, I think Hardman, um, I think this is Shy Smith, Gage are better than Doolin, Aguilar, and Rondell Moore. And we already talked about the quarterback room, and that is why I have no more winning this one. And next up, we have a Ming Magnus. We do have Cash in My Belichick's a Mike who is 1-1, going up against Curly Lamborghini, who's 0-2 and is 21-21. So both these teams are at 500 in their career in LOD. And while we're talking about the LOD in general, just a couple stats to kind of throw out at everybody. The scoring from week 1 to week 2 is down. The highest score in week, I believe, in week 2, in week 1 was 347. The LOD high score was 334. The lowest score went from 181 to 129. The median dropped about 18 points. The total scores dropped about 400 points, about 350 to 400. And the average is down 21 points. So the scoring definitely dropped week over week there. And I believe I said the median, but I'm going to say it again anyway, is about 18 points less than last week. And looking at this matchup, cashing my Belichick's. Let's see. Let me just pull him up real quick. Versus Curly. So Curly does have Matt Ryan, who scored, I believe, negative 10 points. He's a bum. Hate him. He's playing KC. It could be a shootout, or they could just suck again. And then Curly also has Perrine, Herbert, and Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds looks like, in my opinion, splitting time with Mostert, or even he might be RB2 to Mostert. Going up against Geno Smith, Robinson, Burkhead, and Jeff Wilson. Excuse me. Robinson is looking like RB1. He had 25 touches last week. And then I guess, so with that said, give me cash in my Belichick's running back room. Wide receiver room, you got Jacoby Myers, Pickens, and Metcalf for Curly. And then you on cash in my Belichick side, you have Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, and Nico Collins. Anybody who's Jamar Chase, even though he hasn't been, spectacular Jamar Chase, catching 14 touchdowns a game, 700 yards. Still give me the wide receivers for cash in my Belichick's tight end room. Hunter Henry and Jasicki versus Mo Alley Cox. Hunter Henry is now looking like the Hunter Henry from last year. Mo Alley Cox is looking like Mo Alley Cox from last year, 40 points and a 1.7. But you also have Cole Kmet, who is catchless with 2 targets back-to-back weeks. You can't have Justin Fields throw 11 targets and expect anybody on the Bears to actually do anything. And then looking at the flex options, we have Mac Jones versus Tannehill. Tannehill's playing Vegas, so hopefully he does better. He had negative 4.82 points last week. Looking at the other flex, you have Alec Pierce, Christian Watson, DJ Shark going up against Braxton Burrows, Scott Miller, and Sony Michel. And yeah, I don't like any of those options. Kamish had, let me just take a quick look who he picked to win. He picked Cash in to win, and he's going to stick with that option because he doesn't have a choice because he is not changing them. And I picked Cash in my Belichick's to lose. Honestly, in my opinion, it's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be a close game. I originally had Curly, and I'm just going to stick with it because why the hell not? Next up, we have Solomon Seconds. We have Likely Losers and myself versus myself and Philly Miracle Men. Like Losers is 21-21. I am 13-29. However, I do have a 4-3 record against like Losers, which I actually find a little funny. The reason that it's called Solomon is because the commission is in first place and he thinks he's amazing and he's not. Looking at the rosters, I have Carson Wentz who's playing Philly. He might be looking for that revenge matchup. Najee Harris, Gainwell, Breece Hall, Paris Campbell, Duvernay, Burks, Munt, Tremble, Corey Davis, Drake London, and Justin Fields. Again, Justin Fields through 11 passing attempts, not completions. It was 11 passing attempts. He had 7 completions. How, as a quarterback who's losing a game, do you not throw more than 11 attempts? It wasn't raining. It was, come on, throw it. Like this, just the coach should be fired. Like I don't. There's nothing more you can say than that. Going up against Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, James Conner, Damian Harris, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Zach Ertz, Higbee, Christian Kirk, Michael Carter, who is looking like the RB1 over Breece Hall, but Breece Hall is moving in the right direction. And then Curtis Samuel, who's looking good. Actually, Breece Hall scored more points than Michael Carter last week. And Derek Carr, the commish originally had, let's see, he had likely losers winning this one. I had likely losers winning this one, and I'm just going to stick with that. I think likely losers is going to win this one, and commish is going to be right. Next up, we are getting off the schneid, so that is because there's both 0-2 teams. Bills Mafia 0-2. Bolt Up is both also 0-2. Looking at this matchup on face value, knowing what Bills Mafia teams has, Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Henderson, Melvin Gordon, Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, Noah Fant, Isaiah Likely, Gabriel Davis, KJ Osborne, and Matt Stafford. You would think that they would be have a decent lineup and have at least a win, but he does play in a pretty hard division. I actually had Bills Mafia losing the first 2 games as well. I think playing Orange Crush and Deuce Bombers is the hardest 1-2 punch to go with. However, I do have him making a dramatic comeback and going 9-4. So that tells you how I have him predicted the rest of the way. And I think he is going to beat Bolt Up here because Bolt Up has a pretty trash team. He has Justin Herbert, Ty Johnson, Travis Homer, Eno Benjamin, Robbie Anderson, Light DeDorch, Josh Palmer, Everett, who's actually looking pretty good, Logan Thomas. And right now, he doesn't have anybody in his flex to play because he doesn't have a quarterback anymore. He's projected to lose. I have him losing. And let's see who the commish has. Commish has him losing as well, and he's going to lose. Next up is the undefeated battle. The commission himself, 2-0, who was 29-13, going up against Ryan and Deuce Bombers 2-0. And I have Ryan and Deuce Bombers winning this one, I believe. Yes, I do. And the commish, let's see who the commish has on this one because he likes to pick as well. He also has Deuce Bombers winning this one. And looking at it, in my opinion, Tom Brady and Tony Pollard, because Commish's second quarterback is injured or suspended, I should say, versus Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Hurts, who, that's a great 1-2 punch. Commish is winning games, but he's winning games just because he has 2 players on his team, Cooper Kupp and Nick Chubb. Without those 2 guys, I think the commission would be 1-1, if not 0-2. And those are the reasons he's really winning versus Deuce Bomber, who has a pretty spread out team. Joe Mixon, Devontae Swift, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, who really didn't do much, score a touchdown, 12 points, 2 catches. AJ Brown, McLaren, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, J.K. Dobbins. If hopefully he comes back and plays for Deuce Bombers. He did log a full practice today on Thursday. And he has Jalen Hurts, who is a great fantasy football quarterback. And that is why Deuce Bombers is going to win. And we're going back to back, apparently. This is Sapotica Spartans and Doosan, who's 1-1, 24-18, going up to Orange Crush, aka Crushy, who's 27-15. They are 4-4. They played last week, I believe. And let's just look at the quick score last week. Crushy won 324.36 to 178.8. And the question is, will he do it again? And let's look at the matchup again. So we got Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Jones, Hines, Mostert, Waddle, Claypool, Devontae Johnson, Mark Andrews, Granson, George Kittle, Pittman, Question is, will Pittman play today? He did log a limited practice today on Thursday. Peoples Jones and Tua versus Marcus Mariota, Mooney, Parker, Ayuk, Tyson Hill, Kelsey, Sky Moore, who doing shit, Landry Jones, Sterling Shepard, McKissick, A.J. Dillon, Ingram, and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins looked like shit last week. He is playing Detroit. I see that being a high-scoring game. This is going to be a closer game than it was last week, in my opinion. And with that said, I have, let's just take a quick look where I find Orange Crush. I have him losing this one. I don't see him losing it. I think he's going to win this one. It's going to be closer. Kamish has, let's see. He also has Sapotica Spartans winning this one. If he was here, he would probably say, I'm going to change my pick. But he's not here, so he is stuck picking Sapotica Spartans. Next up, we have the Pandian first place battle. We have Roberts and the Illuminati 2-0, who's 20 and 22, versus Zebra and Susie, who's 2-0. She's 22 and 20, the exact opposite of Roberts. She is 5-1 against Roberts. Looking at the matchup real quick, let's go ahead and pull it up. We have Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, Antonio Gibson, and CEH going up against Baker Mayfield, Fournette, Zeke, and Travis Etienne. I think Jonathan Taylor does make a comeback here. I think he had a shit game last week. Well, Matt Ryan had a shit game, which affected Jonathan Taylor. He has 6 yards per carry. Baker Mayfield's hurting C-Mac, but he's playing New Orleans. I think that could be a potentially high-scoring game, or at least he could throw a couple touchdowns. Fournette, I mean, is Fournette. Tom Brady's hurting his value, in my opinion. Zeke, Tony Pollard's hurting his value. Travis Etienne versus Jonathan Taylor, Antonio Gibson, and CEH. Give me those 3 guys I just named. Looking at the wide receiver room, you got Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and Sammy Watkins against Robert Woods, Adam Thielen, and Rashad Bateman. And I'd like Tyreek Hill and Jefferson and Sammy Watkins better than the other guys, Rashad Bateman, Thielen, and Robert Woods. Looking at the tight end room, you got Knox and Tunyon versus Howard and Conklin. I'm going to call it a wash. I mean, you don't really know what Dawson Knox you're going to get, and same thing with Robert Tunyon, in my opinion. They're going to score you some points. How many is really the question. OJ Howard again put up a decent point week 1, but nothing week 2. Tyler Conklin's probably looking like the most consistent of the 4 tight ends that I just named. Looking at the flex option, you got Jared Goff and Jimmy G. And originally, most of the time we say, hey, the quarterbacks are going to win for you. I think Jimmy G helps Zebras get closer to the win here. And I don't think it's good enough, though. I think Baker and Jared Goff do just enough to let Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill win the game for the Illuminati. The commission also has the Illuminati winning here. It's going to be a fun matchup. I think this is a great game of the week to watch. And I'm excited to watch it. I think it's going to be close. Again, we both have Illuminati, and I'm going to stick with that.